Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift_NoDQ. We are coming off Smackdown, which was the final Smackdown before the WWE Fastlane pay-per-view, which is this coming Sunday live on the WWE Network. Caleb Jacobs already with a $4.13 super chat donation. He's wasting no time here. He says Stone Cold reference, wink wink. Well, we will get to maybe a Stone Cold reference here in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and get to the review. We had a graphic for the late King Kong Bundy, and at the very end of this video, after the SmackDown review, I will give my thoughts on King Kong Bundy, talk about his career a little bit, so stay tuned for that. That'll be after the SmackDown review. And just a reminder, thank you, Noah, for pointing this out. Please stay on topic, everybody, especially if you're leaving a super chat. Let's try to stick with what I'm actually talking about in the moment so I don't go all over the place and whatnot. Brandon says, why no 10 bell salute? WWE just doesn't do it for every person that passes away. They are very selective. And quite frankly, King Kong Bundy was not at the top of the WWE Christmas list, let's put it that way. He wasn't in good graces with the company because there was this concussion lawsuit from a few years back that King Kong Bundy was part of. So he's not really a candidate for getting a 10 bell salute as far as WWE is concerned. And it really sucks, but I'll talk more about Bundy in a few minutes here. Well, not a few, but about 20 minutes or so once I'm done with the SmackDown review. As Braden says, it's like a popularity contest, who they like, who they don't like, right? I mean, yeah, political. It's very political. So we had Daniel Bryan come out. We had the Kofi Kingston video package from last week where he got pulled from the match by Vince McMahon. There were Kofi Kingston chants. Daniel Bryan said he was quiet last week when all that went down, but now it's his turn to speak, and everybody needs to be quiet. Erick Rowan even told everybody to shut up. So Bryan talked about how Kofi Kingston isn't a leader. He's a supporting player. You know what would have been funny here? If Daniel Bryan referred to Kofi Kingston as a B+ player. That would have been hilarious, but he didn't actually say B+ player. I would have found that to be extremely funny, but he did refer to Kofi as a supporting player. He said New Day's not even on SmackDown. They're on a promotional tour of India. And by the way, later on in the show, and I'll just talk about this now, there was a clip of the New Day in India hanging out with fans, and then they revealed that they are going to be at Fastlane this Sunday. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyways, Bryan said that he went from facing a guy that gives away pancakes to a guy who likes to eat pancakes. And he said that Kevin Owens does not deserve the title shot because if he loses, the entire planet loses. Kevin Owens at this point came out, total babyface promo, said that while he was gone, he became a member of the WWE Universe, and he added that he was spending time with his family. Caleb Jacobs with another $2 super chat says, I left the super chat off topic, sorry. Not a problem, Caleb. Thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Bryan said that Owens likes to shove a lot of food in his mouth, and, you know, Bryan was making the fat jokes, and Owens was saying that Bryan is lowbrow, putting down everybody, thinking he's better than everybody. And Bryan's resorting to lowbrow, easy fat jokes, to which Owens then said that Bryan needs a bunch of carrots, which he likes to shove up his. And then when he was going to say ass, we had Bryan interrupt him and basically say that now who's lowbrow? Owens said that he doesn't have any 7-footer watching his back because he doesn't have any friends left. But nonetheless, he was going to get in the ring. He was going to confront Erick Rowan, and a brawl ensued. But Owens, 2-on-1, wasn't enough for him to handle. he got claw slammed by Erick Rowan. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were still on the same page when they got injured. I don't recall a breakup storyline with them, so I'm not even sure how this makes sense here, but whatever. I'll suspend disbelief. I'll just pretend like Kevin Owens has no friends, even though he's a babyface now. Okay. So yeah, we had the claw slam from Erick Rowan, and this set up the main event, which I will talk to here shortly, between Kevin Owens and Erick Rowan. Actually, it wasn't the final segment of the show. Hello, Akil. Thank you for tuning in. We had the Usos come out for a promo. They said they were on the road. They were on the fast lane to WrestleMania. They started making fun of the Miz. And then they said at Fastlane, Miz and Shane McMahon are going to get hit real hard. Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary. Good promo from these guys. I Swallow Comb with a $2 super chat donation. BBY, I'ma beat my meat like what? Okay, I'm not going to finish that comment because that was totally inappropriate. So moving on here. Miz came out along with Shane McMahon and said that he will exploit Jey Uso, he will beat him, and he will make his father proud. We had the match between Jimmy Uso and The Miz. Shane McMahon took out Jimmy, and during the distraction, The Miz got the skull-crushing finale on Jey to pick up the victory. So, looks like we have some momentum building for Miz and Shane. Will they win? You'll have to watch the predictions video for my thoughts on that. Got to save a little bit of material for the next video to keep you guys hooked and keep you guys invested. So next up, we had a Charlotte promo. She invited Becky to have a so-called friendly discussion before their match this Sunday at the Fastlane pay-per-view. I was almost going to say Elimination Chamber. She was hoping that Becky would be, quote, man enough to talk about her physical and mental capabilities. Next up, we had R-Truth come out with Carmella. R-Truth cut a promo, said he wants to be like his childhood hero, John Cena. Didn't realize that Cena was doing it every single week, and he said he's done it once, and he's already tired. He said he sees Cena all the time, you know, because Cena says, you can't see me, but R-Truth is like he sees Cena on his posters in his bedroom and his bed sheets. But he said, you know what? He'll go ahead and do another U.S. Open challenge, but first they have to have their 7-second dance break. After the dance break, Lacey Evans came out, did her walk to the ring, walked back, usual stuff. R-Truth yelled out, come back, Miss Sexy Gloves. At this point, we had Samoa Joe's music hit. Joe came out, but then we had Rey Mysterio come out. We had Andrade Cien Almas come out, and I'm not supposed to say Cien Almas, he's just Andrade. We had a fatal four-way match for the U.S. title, so apparently, even if you lost a U.S. title match when you got the opportunity, you could just come back out and get another one. Yeah, I get it, it's a U.S. Open challenge, but if that's the case, where's everybody? What's stopping Rusev from coming out? What's stopping Nakamura from coming out? Or literally anybody on the SmackDown roster. Aiden English, for crying out loud. Wouldn't everybody just come out for the U.S. Open Challenge? Why is it always a select group of people and their music is just conveniently queued up at the right time? I don't know. I get annoyed by these open challenges sometimes just because my thought process is, what about everybody else? I mean, if you're not in WWE to win titles, why are you there? It just pretty much buries everybody because what? They're all just going to sit back there and catering? I mean, there should be some sort of rule here, right? Where only one person can do it. I don't know. I get annoyed with the open challenge sometimes. But nonetheless, we had the match, and the match was pretty good. I thought it was a really solid match. Andrade was doing a little bit of Eddie Guerrero with the Three Amigos and doing Eddie's taunt on the top rope. Speaking of doing people's taunts, we had R-Truth doing the 5-knuckle shuffle to Samoa Joe and Rey. Zelina Vega did a Hurricane Rana to R-Truth on the outside, and then Carmella responded with a super kick to Zelina Vega. Rey Mysterio hit the Canadian Destroyer and then the 619. He went for the big splash, but then Samoa Joe pulled off Rey, hit the Uranagi on Andrade, and then pinned Andrade to become the brand new United States champion. I was happy about this. With all due respect to Caitlyn, R-Truth as the champion was a complete joke. It was just total comedy, and the sooner that belt got off of R-Truth, the better. Now, the question is, will Joe actually get a decent run with the title? That remains to be seen. As TJS pointed out, I feel like Joe's going to get less TV time now since he's the champion. You know, it's the curse of the U.S. title. You get the title, and then you barely get any television time. You barely get anything. But here's where I'm hopeful. A little ray of hope that maybe this was a tease for something. So we had a post-match promo with Samoa Joe. Joe said he doesn't pander to the masses. He also added that he doesn't love John Cena and that all opponents will find disrespect from him when they get into the ring with him. So a John Cena name drop from Samoa Joe didn't mean anything. Yeah, R-Truth mentioned John Cena, but Joe mentioning it, I would like to see Samoa Joe versus John Cena at WrestleMania. There's speculation about Cena's possible opponent. I feel like it's not going to be Daniel Bryan at this point. So why not Joe? Samoa Joe and John Cena have the history going back to UPW when they both broke into the business, and they were supposed to have a feud against each other, but Samoa Joe ended up getting injured, and that never took place. And Joe has actually missed 2 WrestleManias now, so he's yet to actually compete at WrestleMania. So maybe this will finally be Joe's opportunity to have a big WrestleMania match, Samoa Joe versus John Cena for the U.S. title. I like it. I'm totally cool with it. As long as Cena doesn't win the title, because I think that's pointless. But it'd be cool to see John Cena and Samoa Joe one-on-one at WrestleMania nonetheless. So next up, we had Sheamus and Cesaro come out. Sheamus talked about how Aleister Black and Ricochet are the newest shiny new toys from NXT, which was actually quite a funny line because that's how I've always considered a lot of new talents in WWE. They're Vince's shiny toys. And once Vince gets tired of them, those toys get set aside and then Vince finds new toys to play with. So I actually thought this was a really creative line. I'm not sure who came up with it, but I liked it. I thought it was a good line. Cesaro said that just like the Raw teams, Aleister Black and Ricochet cannot measure up to them because they are the bar. They're not just the bar, they set the bar, yada, yada, yada. So good stuff here. Good promo from the bar. We had a good tag team match. Black Mass from Aleister Black to Cesaro, and then the 630 from Ricochet. The NXT guys pick up the victory. And then we had Rusev and Shin attack the baby faces after the match. And then we had the Hardy Boys make the save. Matt Hardy wearing his old school Hardy Boys tie-dye-like t-shirt, which I thought was pretty cool. Little nostalgia there. So yeah, we might potentially have an 8-man tag team match on SmackDown next week. Maybe they'll do it at WrestleMania. Who knows? But I will say this. I mean, the SmackDown tag division definitely feels a lot stronger than the Raw tag division at this point. You know, lots of solid teams here. And when you look at Raw and you look at what happened on Monday with Heavy Machinery beating just 3 random teams, yeah, SmackDown's tag division feels a lot stronger. Now, how long will that last? Will some of these teams end up going to Raw when they do the Superstar Shakeup? That is quite possible. So next up, we had Mandy Rose versus Naomi. Pretty much a squash match. Naomi got beat really quickly here by Mandy Rose, which surprises me. Afterwards, Asuka appeared on the ramp and attacked both Mandy and Sonya Deville. So this was interesting. I guess WWE wanted to build up Mandy is a credible challenger. But man, I mean, this was like pretty much a squash match. Like, it was really short and not much to it. And Naomi's a former women's champion, so I guess now she's going down the Jinder Mahal path of just being the jobber to the stars, I suppose. Still, I like this better than Mandy beating Asuka. Oh wait, she already did that, so never mind. Next up, we had a backstage promo. AJ Styles talking about the Kofi Kingston situation, saying that Kofi got robbed, but also AJ felt bad for Owens for being in the position, saying it was a lose-lose situation for Owens because the fans would not be thrilled about it, and you know, Owens would be taking somebody's spot. And he wonders why WWE isn't listening to the audience with Kofi Kingston. All of a sudden, we had Randy Orton show up again. Second week in a row, Orton has interrupted an AJ Styles promo. Orton was talking about how now AJ's just focused on other people getting opportunities at the WWE title. And then Orton added, "No wonder it took you 15 years to get here." This was a great burn by Randy Orton. A nice little tease. I don't think they're doing the match at Fastlane. There was no mention of it. So it looks like this is going to be a WrestleMania match, as it should be. I would definitely not give away AJ and Randy Orton on Fastlane. This is definitely a WrestleMania match. This is, you know, a feud that we've been talking about for a couple of years now since AJ came to WWE. They've had a couple matches against each other, but they haven't really had like a proper feud. They would just have like a random match on SmackDown. And that's all they've really done. They've barely crossed paths in the 3 years that AJ's been in WWE. So yeah, a WrestleMania match, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, I like it. This and John Cena versus Samoa Joe, I think are two solid additions to the WrestleMania card. So next up, we had Kevin Owens versus Erick Rowan. Really short match here. Bryan was on commentary, just yelling at Owens, calling him a lazy coward. Owens had enough. He attacked Bryan. Rowan attacked Owens, and then Bryan started attacking Owens, which led to the disqualification. And then we were expecting a big save here. It was Mustafa Ali making his big return. I'm glad Ali is back, but part of me was hoping this was going to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn reuniting here. So I feel a little bad that it wasn't Sami Zayn, but I am happy for Mustafa Ali, although he really did not get much of a reaction. I mean, was it just me? When I was watching this, I felt like the crowd really wasn't into Ali all that much. But yeah, it would have been cool if Sami Zayn, I believe Sami Zayn is cleared to return. Could have also been Luke Harper making a surprise return. I don't know. I think I would have preferred to see Sami Zayn or Luke Harper return. But yeah, it's nice that Ali's back and he doesn't just lose his spot because of an injury. Moving on here, we had the main event segment. Charlotte came out. Another video recap was shown from Raw. Charlotte said, "Let's get Becky out here. I know how to get Becky out here. Let's do a Becky, Becky," you know, the fake Becky chant. Of course, the crowd starts chanting along, so, you know, kind of silly, but whatever. I mean, when the heel's telling you to chant something, you don't chant it, you just boo her. But whatever, they just fall right into it, whatever. Becky came out, said that her body was hurting. She still had the crutch with her. Mike B with a $5 super chat says, "Why does Becky need to be invited to be at SmackDown Live when she's already a part of it? WWE logic." Thank you for that super chat, Mike B, and great point. It's kind of silly. Why does Becky need an invitation to be on SmackDown when she's part of the roster? But I guess we're supposed to forget about that. I don't know what to say about it. It's ridiculous. But actually, if we want to talk about something ridiculous here, I feel like Becky should not have even been on this show because she got beat down by Ronda big time. So if she's going to sell that beat down, she should just miss this show. Her coming out basically in the same condition she's been in the past couple weeks, to me, watered down the Ronda Rousey beatdown. You know, back in the day, you have a beatdown like what we saw on Raw. Becky would be off television for a couple weeks to sell it, or at least a week. I mean, this was literally the very next day that Becky Lynch is out there, and she doesn't seem any worse off than she was before that Ronda Rousey attack. So to me, that was a big what the F moment. Agent 14 with a $2 super chat says, how man woo Ronda Rousey train get back on track heat-wise? Well, I'm sure it will. I mean, the personalities are strong enough. The way this was set up was awkward, but I think in the end, it'll still play out the way WWE wants it to play out. As long as Becky gets the win over Ronda, you know, I feel like this will be a satisfying conclusion. The story, they still got 4 or 5 weeks to go. Maybe they can rebound with it. But yeah, I would say try not to overthink it. I think one of the problems over the last several weeks is that WWE's just trying to do too much with this storyline, and they're just throwing a whole bunch of things at the wall, hoping something sticks. Colin Andrew with a $2 super chat says, I'll be in the crowd Sunday. Keep up the videos. Well, thank you for that, Colin. I believe Josh Mansfield is going to be there too. So maybe you guys can meet up there, represent Team NoDQ. So anyways, Becky said her body was hurt, but it won't be the last time, and it's all worth it just for her to be able to get into Charlotte's head. And she added that she's also in the head of Ronda because Ronda gave her her best, and she's still there. And she added that damaged people are the most dangerous people. Noah, are you going to Fastlane? I wasn't sure if you were going to Fastlane or not. I know you went to the house shows, the NXT shows, but I wasn't sure if you were going to Fastlane or not. If you are, Noah, that is pretty cool. We got to get you... dang it. Too bad we already have like a full panel for the predictions. Otherwise, we should get you on. Well, have fun, Noah, and thank you for repping NoDQ in advance. Anyways, Becky was cutting this promo, and then Charlotte just all of a sudden kicked the crutch out of Becky's hand and then beat her down, kept yelling at Becky to fight her. Becky actually did fight back and ended up getting the disarm her on her before the referees came out and broke them up. So this is funny because Charlotte is beating down Becky. Nothing's happening, right? Becky gains control, and pretty much immediately when she gains control over Charlotte, the referees run down. So, what? I don't understand that. Why don't the referees come out immediately? Why do they come out after the babyface gains control? I don't understand that. It's just something I'm watching this and I'm like, huh? Harley's like, finally somebody noticed. Well, yeah, maybe they've done this before and I just haven't been noticing, but I'm just watching this. I'm like, huh? I mean, when the referees come out, I mean, you don't want to jeopardize your match. So wouldn't Shane say referees get out there as soon as Charlotte does something? I don't know. I guess I'm overanalyzing professional wrestling. So bad, Aaron. Bad, Aaron, to overanalyze. All right, so that was SmackDown Live. It was a good show. Not a great show, in my opinion. I mean, it was an all right go-home show. By the way, it's Rey Mysterio versus Andrade in the kickoff match. Miss you too, Caitlin. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling bad for Rey Mysterio and Andrade, the fact that they're going to be on the kickoff for Fastlane when you feel like they should be in the main event. Well, not the main event, but they should be one of the feature matches at WrestleMania. I did read your super chat, Caleb, so you have to watch the beginning of it. Something about the Stone Cold reference. I know Kevin Owens hit the stunner on Bryan. I think I failed to mention that earlier. All right, so letter grade for this show. I am going to give it, I'll give it a B-, you know. Good show, but, you know, just barely above average. I think Samoa Joe winning the U.S. title put it over the top for me. Ben Dover with a $2 super chat says, good review, bro. I wish to slap my nuts on your forehead. Well, that ain't going to happen, Ben Dover, but thank you for the sentiment, I guess. Chris W. with a $5 super chat says, if they end up doing Kofi Kingston versus Bryan at WrestleMania, I Hope they don't pull the WrestleMania 19 finish with Booker T versus Triple H. Sorry if I'm off topic a bit. Well, now that we're done with SmackDown, we can talk about that. Yeah, that would suck for poor Kofi if he just fought Daniel Bryan and they did all this build-up only for him to lose. B-Boy gives the show a C. Noah gives the show a B. Braden gives it a D+. Mayor of Peepsville gives it a B. Jeremy Dorset, B+. John with a B-. Tic Tat Tat with a B-. Caitlin with a B. And Kayfabe Candy asks, send me a super chat and I'll sing Life in the Fast Lane. Because I don't think you've ever done a super chat. So there you go. Mike B with a $9.99 super chat donation. Isn't Taz rumored to be going into the Hall of Fame this year? When do you think Christian goes in? Great rants last night. That was awesome shit, my friend. Well, thank you very much for that, Mike B. Much appreciated. So, WrestleVotes, which is the account that reported Tori Wilson going into the Hall of Fame and Honky Tonk Man going in, also reported that possibly Taz would go in, and also reported that Brutus Beefcake would be going in. So we could end up seeing Taz go in, and you know, I think he's fine. I have no issue with that. Whose super chat did I miss? I don't think I missed any super chats, but maybe I did. TK with a $2 super chat says, from Kayfabe, sing it. Hey, I said Kayfabe Candy ass, not you, TK. Life in the fast lane surely make you lose your mind. Okay, that's enough of that before I lose all the viewers here. Okay, Curtis Butler with a $2 super chat says, who is making you mad on Twitter? I'm not on it. Okay, you guys know Twitter can be a really toxic place. A lot of people, the problem with people on Twitter is that it gives people more of an opportunity to just say whatever they want to anybody without any repercussions, because you're sitting behind a computer screen. So people on Twitter are ultra sensitive, and any little thing that they see that they get offended by, they're going to say something. They're going to rant. They're going to insult somebody and disrespect them. That's just the nature of Twitter. You know, it's easy to go behind a computer screen and just talk trash about somebody when you're not seeing them face to face. I don't block people, because to me, blocking is just taking the easy way out, unless somebody's threatening me. In that case, they get blocked. But if somebody makes a petty insult at me, I'm not going to block them. Axel with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Axel. Could you see Roman Reigns turning on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania after he wins the title? You know, that would be great. Now that people are not expecting a Roman Reigns heel turn, this would be a great time to do it. Now that the crowd likes Roman Reigns, this is when you turn him heel. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Although we saw what happened with Bryan, and that worked out great. But I don't think we're going to see a heel turn from Roman Reigns ever. Don't think he's ever turning. Just don't see it happening. Noah says, treat one another the way you want to be treated on social media, and don't be a dick. Hashtag simple as that. I like it, Noah. I'm Aaron Rift, and I approve that message. But yeah, as far as Twitter goes, I posted a little video snippet of NoDQ video to try and boost viewers for that video and just promote the NoDQ video. But there's people that will just see a tweet. They don't want to watch the video. So they're just going to look at the headline. And if the headline offends them, then they're going to make it loud and clear that they don't approve of the comment. So I get like a bunch of messages from people saying you're an idiot and you're a goof for thinking that Triple H and Batista is not appealing. And yeah, it's just annoying, because these people, obviously, my goal is to try to get some new people watching, but people on Twitter don't even want to bother watching. They just want to throw out insults. So kind of backfired on me, I guess you can say, because I'm trying to get new people to watch, but if they don't want to watch, they're just going to look at the tweet and then they're just going to they're just going to rant and rave about what I tweeted. So whatever. KFib Candy House says people like to be mad. Like, it would be nice if somebody actually watched the video and then said, hey, I like your video, but I respectfully disagree, and here's why, and be rational. Instead, I get people just throwing childish insults at me. You know, stuff like delete your account and that sort of thing. Basically trolls, because these guys would never say this to your face. And to this day, I've never had a person come up to me and actually say something negative to me. Not once. Every person I've met in person, they've always been really nice, really friendly. But yeah, nobody's ever said anything to my face negative. And look, I'm not looking for a fight. I'm not the kind of guy that can win a fight anyways. I'm just saying, if you're going to say something, at least have the decency to say it to somebody's face. Don't say something on Twitter that you wouldn't say to somebody's face, basically. Got a $5 super chat here from Mike B. Thank you, Mike B. You're amazing, by the way. Twitter trolls are just mad because they know that James Ellsworth is better than them. Ouch. Ignore the haters. You're awesome, Aaron. Well, thank you for that. And, you know, if you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. You know, no matter what I do, and I have an issue here. I'll get to that in a second here. I still have to talk about King Kong Bundy. Marcus the God with a $2 super chat. Should Asuka drop the title at WrestleMania 35? Depends on who she's facing, you know. If there's a good person to have Asuka lose the title to, then yeah. But if not, I mean, I feel like there's nobody that's really suitable at this point. So I would say no. But yeah, going back to what I was saying a minute ago, I have an issue where I want to try and please everybody. Like, I have this issue with myself where if somebody doesn't like what I'm doing, I want to try to win them over. But I've learned a long time ago, you just can't do that. You cannot please everybody. No matter what I do, I'm going to have critics. And it's been like that for 20 years, and I'm sure it will be like that for another 20 years. So I'm just going to come on here, do my thing, do the best job I can, and that's that. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not going to like it. I do appreciate constructive feedback for the videos, but if somebody's just going to be an asshole, then there's nothing much I can do about it other than to just let it go. You know, if I try to reason with them or try to win them over, it's not going to work. If they don't like my stuff, they don't like my stuff. There's not much I can do about it. So that's my thoughts on all that. Real quick, let me talk about King Kong Bundy. He was definitely one of the most memorable big men characters, especially in the golden era of WWE in the 1980s. I think back to the first WrestleMania, King Kong Bundy squashing SD Special Delivery Jones in a record 9 seconds, according to Howard Finkel. Even though the match was more like 25, 30 seconds. I mean, it was very much exaggerated, the time of the fall. Actually, it might have been like 7 seconds that they were claiming. It was like 25, 30 seconds. But they were saying, Brian Zane said it was 25 seconds. What did Howard Finkel announce it as? I think it was 7 seconds or 9 seconds. Either 7 or 9 seconds. But yeah, I mean, that was memorable. You know, just a complete squash of SD Jones. And then we had WrestleMania 2, of course, which was a great angle. King Kong Bundy with the avalanche to Hulk Hogan. Hogan's ribs all taped up. They had the steel cage match. I enjoyed the whole storyline. I thought that was really well done. Bundy and Big John Studd had an interesting tag team. They had a match with Hogan and Andre the Giant on Saturday night's main event. And then we had WrestleMania 3 with King Kong Bundy squashing the little midget. That was great. And then, of course, Bundy, I think, had another match with Hogan towards the end of 1987, and then he left. He did do a stint on Married with Children, which is very well known. He came back in the mid-90s. His mid-90s run was not quite as good. He had that match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, which was one of The Undertaker's, when you rank his matches, the match with Bundy's towards the bottom, quite frankly. He was part of the $1 Million Corporation. Really didn't do a whole lot. But yeah, it was really that mid-'80s run that was the peak of Bundy's career. And he was a memorable character. You know, he shaved his eyebrows, which actually made him look even more intimidating. And he's going to be missed. I feel bad that, again, another guy that you could have put into the Hall of Fame when he was alive should have happened. And yeah, he died at 61, which is, it's getting up there, but it's still relatively young. So sorry to see him go. And my condolences go out to his family and friends. All right, so on that note, I will wrap it up for this edition of No DQ video. Hold that thought here. Axel with a $5 super chat says, are you going to watch the Hulk Hogan documentary on Netflix when it comes out? Sure, I will definitely check it out, as I do pretty much every documentary, although I haven't watched the Page one yet. I will probably wait until that is released on a home movie, you know, Netflix or whatever. You have to pay $3 on Amazon Prime or whatever. But yeah, I would definitely check out the Hogan documentary once it's out. Kayfabe Candy asks, like, I bet that documentary is like 25% factual. Well, we'll see, brother. We'll see if Hulk Hogan, if that documentary lives up to the expectations of the Hulkster. My SmackDown letter grade was a B-. So, yeah, I thought it was decent, but not a great go-home show. All right, guys, so I'll wrap it up now for No DQ Live. Stay tuned for the No DQ predictions for Fastlane. Have a great night, everyone. Stay positive. Buy a shirt, nodq.com/shirts.